Squid Game captivated global audiences with its brutal depiction of survival games, where desperate individuals risk their lives for a chance at fortune. But what if this fictional narrative draws chilling parallels to real events from South Korea's past? Today we delve into the haunting story of Brothers Home, a facility whose dark history mirrors the dystopian world of Squid Game. In the 1980s, South Korea was undergoing rapid economic development, striving to present a polished image to the world ahead of the 1988 Seoul Olympics. In this pursuit, authorities sought to cleanse the streets of vagrants, homeless individuals, and others deemed undesirable. Many of these people were forcibly taken to facilities like Brothers Home, officially termed welfare centers, but in reality, harrowing detention camps. The detainees of Brothers Home were not just the homeless. They included beggars, street vendors, and even children who happened to be out after curfew. The brutal reality was that anyone could be swept up and sent to these so-called welfare centers with no due process. Once inside, they found themselves in a nightmare. In Squid Game, participants are lured into deadly competitions under the pretense of clearing their debts and achieving financial freedom. Similarly, detainees at Brothers Home were promised shelter and work, but instead faced brutal exploitation. Reports from survivors describe forced labor under grueling conditions. Detainees worked on construction sites and in factories, producing goods that generated significant revenue for the operators of Brothers Home. The horror of Brothers Home did not stop at forced labor. Physical abuse was rampant, and punishments were often severe. Many detainees were subjected to beatings and other forms of violence. In Squid Game, the violence is framed as part of the competition, but in Brothers Home, it was a daily reality imposed by guards who acted with impunity. The 1980s in South Korea were marked by authoritarian rule, where dissent was met with suppression. Facilities like Brothers Home served not only to remove the homeless, but also political dissidents and others considered undesirable by the regime. The lack of oversight allowed those in charge to abuse their power unchecked. The echoes of this dystopian reality can be felt in Squid Game, where the organizers of the deadly competition wield absolute control, exploiting participants for entertainment. Perhaps one of the most haunting aspects of Brothers Home is the sheer number of deaths that occurred within its walls. Official records indicate over 500 deaths, but many believe the real number is much higher. Malnutrition, disease, and violence claim the lives of countless detainees. The deaths were often covered up or ignored, much like how the fallen participants in Squid Game are discarded without a second thought. Squid Game holds up a mirror to society, highlighting issues of inequality, desperation, and the exploitation of the vulnerable. It forces viewers to confront the harsh realities of capitalism and the human cost of extreme wealth disparities. In South Korea, the memory of Brothers Home serves as a grim reminder of a past where human lives were treated as expendable in the pursuit of national image and economic growth. The survivors of Brothers Home have long fought for recognition and justice. Their testimonies have shed light on a dark chapter of South Korean history, prompting calls for accountability and compensation. Yet many questions remain unanswered, and the full extent of the atrocities may never be known. As Squid Game continues to spark conversations worldwide, it's crucial to remember and acknowledge the real histories that echo its themes. The story of Brothers Home stands as a testament to the resilience of survivors and a cautionary tale of the perils of unchecked authority. By understanding the parallels between fiction and reality, we gain a deeper appreciation of the stories being told and the lessons they carry. Squid Game may be a work of fiction, but the truths it reflects are all too real. Let us not forget the past, for it is only by remembering that we can hope to build a better future. Many survivors recall that Brothers Home was surrounded by high walls topped with barbed wire, giving it the appearance of a prison rather than a welfare facility. Armed guards patrolled the premises, and escape attempts were met with severe punishment. The operators of Brothers Home reportedly received government subsidies based on the number of detainees housed. This created a perverse incentive to increase the facility's population, leading to indiscriminate detentions. Detainees who fell ill were often left untreated, and those with serious conditions were simply isolated until they either recovered on their own or succumbed to their illness. Basic medical care was a rarity, and some survivors reported that those who became too weak to work were discarded without further support. In addition to forced labor, there are accounts of detainees, especially young men, being subjected to military-style drills and exercises. These drills were physically exhausting and served no purpose beyond breaking their spirits and enforcing obedience. Some historians believe that Brothers Home, along with similar facilities, played a role in maintaining social order during a period of political unrest. By detaining large numbers of individuals from lower socioeconomic classes, the government aimed to prevent protests and public demonstrations. Journalists who attempted to investigate Brothers Home during its operation faced significant obstacles, including threats and censorship. The extent of the abuse only came to light years later, when brave whistleblowers and survivors began speaking out. Many survivors faced immense challenges reintegrating into society after their release. With no formal education or job training and lasting psychological trauma, they struggled to find employment and rebuild their lives. So why has Squid Game resonated so deeply with millions of people around the world? The show's timing is no coincidence. Released during a period of global financial uncertainty, rising inequality, and widespread social unrest, its themes strike a universal chord. Viewers see reflections of their own struggles, whether it's mounting debt, job insecurity, or the feeling of being trapped in a system rigged against them. Additionally, the raw human emotions portrayed in the show, fear, hope, betrayal, and solidarity, transcend cultural barriers. The brilliantly crafted characters, each with their own backstory and motivations, allow audiences to empathize with their plight. Beyond the gripping drama, Squid Game forces us to ask uncomfortable questions about our world. What are we willing to sacrifice for survival? How far will people go when they have nothing left to lose? Ultimately, Squid Game isn't just a show, it's a conversation starter, a mirror reflecting societal flaws, and a call to rethink the systems we live in. It's no wonder that it has captured the attention and hearts of so many people worldwide, sparking debates about human nature, social inequality, and the price of desperation. As we discuss and analyze the fictional world of Squid Game, let's not forget the real stories it echoes, stories like Brothers Home. By remembering these dark chapters of history, we can work toward a more just and compassionate world. Thank you for watching, and if you found this exploration insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more conspiracy theories about Squid Games.